Daddy's gonna go fishing. Are you coming?
Bye.
Actually, there's a bit cold for you today. You stay here, look after Mummy, alright? You stay, look after Mummy. Okay?
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. We've just come to this beautiful little stretch of coastline, which I dive quite frequently in the summer. You may notice it from some of my previous videos, if you've seen some of the older videos, where I've been diving for the bass in the summer. And it's really interesting actually. The water's 9 degrees, which is about 10 degrees cooler than it is in the summer. But the amount of life around is really quite promising. After being in the water for a short period, we have both seen big schools of bass, 30, 40, possibly more in the school, you know, coming right into where we're diving. They're just attracted a bit, they're curious by the vibrations, the noises we're giving off in the water, and they're coming in to have a look. Barclay's had a cracking flounder, which picked up off the sand, which is a beautiful fish, and there's been decent numbers of pollock around as well. Nothing quite of size today, but it's still really pleasant to see lots of life in the water. I think sometimes, you know, we might be reluctant to dive in the winter because there's the thinking there are fewer fish around, but today it's been just as good as the summer, really.
Oh yeah, they're about. I was surprised to see quite so many fish. You know, big shoals of pollock. Granted, there's only 1 or 2 shootable, large, edible size pollock. But you know, as Joe says, saw quite a few shoals of bass.
Yeah.
Really surprised to see them creeping up, and a few bass on their own.
Got Barclay? I have a flounder.
And why is it a flounder?
Because you have just told me that you can tell from, well, first of all, it's less of a diamond shape.
No, it is a
It's
diamond.
more diamond shape, less round.
Exactly.
And you've got this sort of backbone up here, which
It's
you
rough, very rough lateral line. Hear it? That's
Yeah.
how you can tell the flounder from the place. And also the spots are usually less orange on the flounder. They're kind of often really quite subtle. Sometimes there are no spots at all. And sometimes they're really pale in colour, sometimes they're really dark. They're very varied, the flounder. Are you happy with that? Because last trip, you know, things weren't going your way, and now you've got this beautiful fish. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm dead chuffed. Really happy. I mean, there was some good fish about.
Yeah. So I think we're going to push down the coast a bit now, and we're going to dive a similar mark to this, a shallow spot. There's lots of fallen rocks, which have fallen into the sea. There's lots of cover, so it'd be nice to possibly pick up another flounder. That would be great on the edge of these rocks where they meet the sand. Possibly we could be in the chance of a big mullet too, which would be good. But you know, we'll take what we can this time of year, take what we can home to have with the family, and enjoy the surroundings.
Anchor going down, Captain. I'm really excited. It's crystal clear. Wow. Wow.
Hot drinks?
Where else do you start other than what an incredible dive?
So, visibility here is really, really good. you've got this huge cone of viz. So I was just sneaking along the rocks, and you can see the mullet high in the water column sneaking along. And as soon as they would come along, you'd tuck yourself in behind a rock, and it was like a game of cat and mouse. It was a lot of fun. We got some great fish. We got 2 mullet each at this spot, and it's really interesting. It's at this time of year, they're very specific about where they hang out. So in the summer, you kind of find them everywhere. In the winter, they're a bit more tucked away in bigger schools. So was that kind of your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were. I didn't see a single one on its own. I would see 30, 20, 30 at a time.
Yeah.
And they were mostly really big as well. There weren't many, I didn't really see any small ones.
Yeah.
All really good sizes. It was seriously exciting.
Good fun?
Seriously exciting.
Yeah.
I had a time of my life. You're right, it was like a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
You'd see them and then they take off, but they take off in one direction, and you know, mullet being mullet, they're not going to go very far.
Yeah.
So you just
you can
slowly waft towards
You
them.
can track the school around the coast, basically. Sometimes you'd see them sneaking through, and so you'd carefully pursue them, and then you'd see them again feeding on the green algae, on the green weed. You could creep round the rocks, dive, but you didn't necessarily need to dive. I actually didn't even dive for mine. I just kind of predicted where they were going to be, cruised around the rocks, put the spear in. It was superb fun, actually. And it's funny because this, you know, the first ever fish I caught years ago was a mullet, and it was so much fun then doing the mullet hunt, and here we are 10 years later, and it's still so much fun. It's lovely to be out and catching your own food in these conditions as well. Would you say it's just as fun as when?
It was incredible. I had a ball, and you're not wrong. I expected to see 1 or 2 mullet on their own, but you're absolutely right. This time of year, they're all bunched together in a big school. I'll tell you what else I saw. I was trying to get your attention, but I couldn't see you, which I just thought was quite cool.
That's because you swam about a mile in that direction.
I was hunting. I was in my own world. I was completely carried
lost
away.
him straight away.
But I saw on the pinnacle over there,
Yeah.
I don't know, 6 meters down, something like that.
Yeah.
There was a small seal, a baby seal carcass, wedged
really?
in between a rock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you manage to?
Yeah, I filmed it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at that baby seal carcass.
I wanted to call you over to go and have a look at it, to see like maybe if there's lobsters around it eating it. There
will be, yeah. It will be feasted upon.
But it seemed pretty well preserved.
Yeah.
Actually, having said that, the tail they'd started to eat away at the tail. But there was no one there when I was there.
Interesting.
And I sort of assumed it would just be feasted on until it was all gone.
There will be a lobster in the rocks nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be. Oh, amazing.
It was. Anyway, I had an absolute ball. Do you want some more tea?
Oh yeah, go on. Hang on.
Do you feel cold?
It was much warmer there.
How long were we in for?
But this cove is a real sun trap. You know, it gets the sun all day, so it's another reason why it collects a bit of warmth, which the mullet like. That was good fun. Really good fun. Cheers. So I'm just going to open one of these mullet because I have a feeling they're going to have some very tasty roe inside, and I have a really nice recipe for mullet roe. So let's see. See the yellow sack?
Yeah.
So there's 2 of them. There's one this side as well. That's the roe of the grey mullet. And in Japan, that is an absolute delicacy. worth its weight in gold. Definitely not throwing that away. Those are delicious. They're kind of attached to the lining here, so gently pull them away. There you go.
Very, very nice.
There you have it. So yeah, start with a knife in the anal cavity, kind of work in a C shape round here. That's it. That'll do. Now you should be able to get your fingers in and clean it. You see all it's been eating?
Yeah.
Probably a lot of stones in there. So welcome to the kitchen. Today we're going to cook the mullet and we're going to do crispy fried sweet and sour mullet. It's going to be delicious. So we're going to get started. Okay, this is really easy to fill it with. Okay.
Well done. Perfect.
Okay, so going down but not going through the skin. Don't be too shy with this. You won't go through the skin if you're a bit careful. You should be fine.
That looks wonderful. That's spot on, matey.
Should be. Okay.
Wow. That looks incredible.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Get it into all of the nooks and crannies. This is how we make sweet and sour sauce. Like a simple way to do it. Ketchup, vinegar, sugar, and a bit of salt. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah. Are we going to get that fish in there?
No. We'll pour this over the top of the fish. So we'll lay the fish out on a plate.
Yeah.
And we'll pour this over the top. Oh, look at that, starting to come together. I don't know if you can see that.
That's gonna be delicious.
I think I've shared that out pretty evenly, to be honest. Yeah, I'd say. Oh, I'd say.
Okay, so the recipe is finished. Dinner's on the table. Barclay's given me chopsticks and I have no idea how to use them. But it's time for my first taste test. How do I? Okay, like this.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. Do you want this bit?
I'm better with spear gun than I am with chopsticks. Okay, here we go. Wow.
Oh my god.
You've knocked this one out of the park.
We have knocked this one out of the park.
That's so special.
That's so good. Would we do this again?
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk a bit about spearfishing because some viewers were commenting, I don't really like to hold my breath for too long, or, a lot of stuff I'm doing is shallow. And so much off our coastline here in the southwest, there's so much you can catch from the surface, honestly, without even diving.
Yeah.
Sometimes, don't neglect the water that's literally this deep. I mean, we were shooting those fish in 3 feet,
Yeah.
2 or 3 feet of water, and it was such great sport. And
If that, sometimes my stomach would be sort of scraping along the seabed.
yeah,
The sand or the rocks.
Yeah.
You've got the waves, like the small waves coming in
Yeah.
over the top of you.
yeah. So there is an element of challenge as well because obviously the fish are darting about a bit when they sense your presence, and the surge is coming in and out, so you're moving a bit. So your shooting needs to be on point. So the challenge is there, that's for sure. But yeah, it's let's not forget how good the shallow water spearfishing is in the UK. And then in the summer, or from early spring, there will be bass, very shallow as well. They will come right in and feed, especially early morning and late evening. They'll come right in and feed as the tide comes in on those higher marks where the bait fish are being pushed up. And there's so much good stuff to have off the shore.
Yeah. They'll chase the bait fish right into the shore, won't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why sometimes you can see if you're walking along a long stretch of beach, you'll see bait fish literally jumping out of the water onto the shore just to escape. Often be mackerel, but also sea bass as well, who will be sort of attacking them from beneath, pushing them out of the surface of the water, and there's only one place to go, which is on land.
Yeah.
A lot of the mullet and bass that I've shot, especially through summer, have always been, this is from a shore dive now, have always been when I'm headed back in. I've finished my dive, I'm on my way back in, and it's always when you're just getting in the last foot of water,
Yeah.
they just come darting past you. You're absolutely right, they are about in the shallows, and
Yeah.
good point to make that you mustn't neglect the shallows, because there's plenty of spearing to be done.
There's plenty of great spearfishing to be done. Yeah. I mean, there are those species that aren't going to turn up in the really shallow water. There's things like black bream. There's things like pollock. I did have one exceptional moment last summer where I did have a 10-pound pollock in about 4 meters of water.
On the Cornwall trip.
No. So in South Devon. And that was exceptional. It was, and that was because the water was extremely rough that day. I mean, when you get really, really rough seas, there's obviously a major safety aspect of diving, but that day it was very rough, and the pollock come right in when it's rougher. In my experience, that's what I found. But generally speaking, the boat dives help to target things like pollock, things like black bream. Okay, so in conclusion of today's video, shallow water spearfishing is epic. Now, based on the pollock trip and that trip, which one did you find more fun? More fun?
But this isn't because it was a shore dive,
Yeah.
but I found the shore dive more fun. That's because we had exceptional circumstances.
Yeah.
Crystal clear visibility, beautiful sunny day, not an iota of wind in sight. But that was my preferred trip. How about you?
I'd say it's very, very difficult. For me, probably the Pinnacle had the edge, just because of the unknown. You know what I mean? Like the shallow water stuff is quite predictable for me. You know what I mean? Like with the Pinnacle and on the pollock video, I just had no idea what that would be like in January. So it was a big element of surprise. You know, wow, there are lots of good pollock here. But I mean, you know, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
They were great fun. So, and we've also learned that when you chop lots of grooves and mullet and pour a sauce on it, it's absolutely amazing. So thank you for that, Barclay. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching the video. And I have no idea what we're doing next time. Maybe we'll do a gilthead bream cook-up. Happy with that?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Let's do a gilthead bream cook-up next week, or possibly the week after, depending on the schedule. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you at the next video. Cheers. I got something coming.
That's a wrap.